Here's a dar-la-la-la niblet on upgrading heroes and survivors. And I'm going to illustrate the upgrade mechanisms using Maggie and Riot Gear Glenn. So let's start with Maggie. And there's a couple things to notice. One, on the left-hand side, you'll see that my Maggie Ree is at level 25. And if you look down at the very bottom on the left, it has a train button. So if I elect to train Maggie, her level would actually go from a 25 to a 26. We would see some changes in things like damage, health, and her overall level will go up. But if we look on the right-hand side of the screen, there's some different elements. And you'll see the first tab, the one that's displayed, is her traits. So she's got several traits. She's because she's a hero from the television show, she actually has this special leader trait, which is the one shown in gold. So she's got a thing called Harvest Red. She's got a vigilante trait, marksman, sure shot, and lucky. Now, down at the bottom, you'll see a tiny image of those cards that you get when you make like a Maggie Ree radio call, or if you get Maggie Ree cards in some other way, they will give you credit here on Maggie for updating Maggie's traits. You'll see that my upgrade trait here is in green because I have met the threshold for being able to upgrade Maggie Ree's traits up to the next level. So you'll see the trait that's going to update right now is the lucky one, which is actually a very good trait, a very handy trait. And because I have 586 cards collected and I only needed 500, I can actually go ahead and upgrade that trait. Before I do, let me show you what her lucky trait looks like. So with her lucky trait, she's currently at a level 5. That improves her chances that the other traits up above will take effect, and it'll increase the chances by 18%. Now, I expect when I hit upgrade trait here, we're going to see a change in that lucky trait. So let's go ahead and do it and see what happens. So upgrade trait. Do I want to upgrade it for 500 Maggie points? And I say yes. Now, suffice it to say, I can only use Maggie cards for updating Maggie's traits. All right, now I only have 86 Maggie points left. I'm going to have to collect a bunch more before I hit the next threshold for another trait upgrade. But let's take a look at that lucky level. And now, instead of 18%, you can see that the chances of the other traits kicking in has increased by 20%. So every time I do one of these updates in her traits go up. I also want to mention that, so there's two different types of updating here, right? One is updating the traits. One is updating her overall level. In terms of priority, I and many others would attest that it's actually more important to focus on upgrading those traits than it is her actual level. Upgrading the actual level uses a different type of material. It requires me to either pay gold or use experience points in order to update. And we'll see that on Glenn, Riot Gear Glenn in a minute. But by updating the level of the hero, it'll enable us to do some things, like sometimes you're required to update it before you can go back and make other updates in your camp, right? So there are dependencies between updating different types of things, including your heroes. So sometimes you'll need to come back in and update the level or upgrade the level of your hero. However, every time you do that, it affects other things in the game. On the positive side, it can enable you, because your hero is at a higher level, to take on some challenges or missions that you otherwise would not be eligible to take over. However, when it comes to some kinds of missions, especially, some types of missions, the game is also going to make some of your missions harder because it's going to measure those against your hero levels. And if you've got higher level heroes, you're going to be dealt higher level or more difficult challenges. So it is both a blessing and a curse when you are updating your levels. So again, that's a little bit of the reason why I'm not as anxious to upgrade my levels, but I'm always excited to upgrade my traits. Now, let's go over to Riot Gear Glenn, because he's the one I did want to update or upgrade in terms of his overall level. So let's take a look at Riot Gear Glenn. So Riot Gear Glenn is currently at a level 27 because many or most of my most frequently used heroes are at level 27. I want to bring Glenn up to their level so I can use him more without him being unduly disadvantaged. So you'll see his damage is currently at 4817, which shows above his weapon. Also his health, which is combined not just from his level, but also from the particular piece of protective gear he's wearing. So those are cumulative numbers, right? His total damage, 4817, based both on himself and the weapon he's got, and his health based on his gear and also his own level. So when I go now to train Glenn, you'll see I get a choice in what I want to spend in order to upgrade him. I could choose gold, but frankly, I would not upgrade a character with that much gold unless I was absolutely desperate. Plus, I don't currently have that much gold. But you'll see the 3.32 million experience points, the little thing that looks like a sheriff's badge. And we're currently in a special where instead of training a hero taking roughly a day, it's going to train him up in like 5 seconds. So that's a really nice thing. By the way, there is another little icon on the bottom there, which is a speed up token. We don't need a speed up token here. I have no desperation to upgrade Glenn. And also, he's going to upgrade automatically in 5 seconds. So I'm going to save those speed up tokens for some time when it actually matters to me. So already, because I've selected to train him, you can see some additional information here to help me make a decision, before I spend the experience points. Do I really want to upgrade him? You can see that when I upgrade him, it now shows me I'm going to go from level 26 to 27. My total damage is going to increase from 4817 to 5330. And his health is going to take a nice bump from 9433 up to 10,699. So do I want to do it? And the answer is yes. So let's train Glenn. 4, 3, 2, 1. Training complete. Let me just click on that. And it's going to show us that we've increased his damage by 513 points, health by 1266. We'll say okay. And here's our new outlook for Glenn. I'm going to close this little mini explainer video right now. And as soon as I'm done, I'm actually going to come in here and see if there's possibly some a different weapon that I might want to upgrade him with, and protective gear, I might want to bump that up a little bit more because he's now eligible for some higher level gear. And Glenn's going to be, another boosted hero in my teams. Hope that helped you in some way. Take care. Have fun playing. Bye-bye.